Okay, guys, welcome back to another episode of TheDropPodcast. Man, I am just so happy to be back on some of this Dragon Ball Z action. Oh, I guess either I can't punch or okay. I just had to make sure. Sometimes the controls will get just like a little messed up, and I won't be able to do what I wanted to do. I don't think I've ever gone this way. Oh, yeah, I have. Um, it's just a field surrounding the village and stuff. Man, I love this game, man. It's so good. It's just so cool. I don't know. It's honestly like it's the best way that I think they could have done Dragon Ball Z. But guys, I want to talk about something. So like I have been having the weirdest dreams lately. Like it's like the first dream that I remember. I my eye was being like well, I think I was crying blood at first, and so then like I don't know, fog happened, and then I was all of a sudden I was in this place um where then I had uh oh shoot oh shoot oh, that's not good. I was in this place. I was in this place where I had do I have any food? Come on. I might already use the sensu bean. That's crazy. But anyway, I was in this place. Here, let's just go back so I can heal. But I was in this place, and so shoot. And someone was cutting my eye out. Well, that's not good. It's alright. I think we already died. We already died once. Wow. That's okay. Because they save it right here, so that's not a big deal. But the guy was cutting my eye out, like just like the pupil or something like that. And then they stuck a what is it called? They stuck a oh, because I wasn't supposed to go that way. But they stuck a button in my eye, and the only thing I can remember about the button, like I could feel it, like it just bothered my like it didn't hurt. I just didn't like it. Like it just bothered my eye. And I could feel like the edge of it poking or kind of like I could feel like almost like I could feel the cotton just rubbing against my my like eyelid. Like you know how like whenever you stay up too late and you get that feeling in your eye like there's something lodged up like in there. That's kind of how it felt, except like I could feel like the cotton. But anyway, and then I woke up. So it wasn't that one wasn't the worst of them, but then oh, okay. But then just last night I had a pretty weird one. It was I can't think of what it was about. I can't remember. And I knew like as soon as I had it, I was like, okay, you got to remember this. And then there's also one right before that too that I said I was going to remember, but like I was thinking about this morning whenever I woke up about just all the dreams and stuff. But I don't know. Supposedly they have meaning, but I don't know what you guys think about that, but I know Jordan Peterson says that like dreams are, I guess, like your unconscious trying to figure out like problems or solve them or something of that sort. But I just don't. Oh shoot. Oh, again. As I was saying, I just don't see. I guess I just don't see like what, like a button in my eye. I actually looked it up, trying to remember what it said. It said something like it was a good thing. Like it looked positive. But I mean, I don't really believe like those. I don't believe in. I mean, like if you look up, because it's like if there is meaning to dreams, then I think it's something that's probably more personal, and like you probably don't like just look that stuff up. You know what I mean? Like it's probably more along the lines of like this means this to me. You know what I mean? Like what does a button resemble to you? You know what I mean? And I don't know. But I've also heard, oh, this is what Jordan Peterson says. He says it's like your brain is trying to solve like something that when you're awake, like I guess like you can't handle. Like I don't know, like a very nihilist kind of thing. Like it doesn't seem very positive. But I don't know. I think it's cool. It's a cool idea, and it is very, very curious. And I also think like one thing that I noticed is like if ancient cultures like Native Americans or not ancient cultures but just cultures that didn't really have entertainment or like distractions, like whenever they take something seriously like dreams, and they took dreams very seriously, then I think that kind of goes to show like there's something there, you know what I mean? Because otherwise they like they're very, very well like resourceful, you know what I mean? So like everything had a purpose, and so I do believe that you know just the fact that they took those dreams very seriously means that there's something in it. Like that's another thing that I was talking about. Remember how I was talking about how like unnatural things like they kind of point out how the brain like is supposed to function naturally. Like it kind of shows like the meaning of some of the things that we have, some of the systems that we have. Whoops. And I think especially in comparison, whenever you look in comparison to other systems that or not other systems, but in comparison to like the Native Americans or just I don't know, like I mean that's really most I hear about because I'm from the U.S. But I guess just other cultures, other ancient cultures, or like Egyptians too. Like not even Egyptians because they were very, very like well, actually I would say Egyptians because I think there is something significant that we don't quite understand about like their structures and buildings that they would do, like the pyramids, like I know there's supposed to be like I guess like a form of communication, or it's interesting that thank you. It's interesting that like the pyramids existed in a lot of different places. That's all I think. Like, and I'm sure there's like more commentary, more spoken on this subject, especially by, well, I guess by theorists. Oh, come on, really? By theorists and by other like scientists and stuff who studied the Egyptians like methods of communication. That there was something like I guess like a blue energy that allowed people to like communicate across the world, because part of the like what's so interesting about the whole thing is that people from other places, like not just the Egyptian culture, like other people built pyramids, like the Mayan pyramids or whatever, and it's a very similar shape. Like, besides the flat or the top being flat. But I don't know. But I guess, oh, well, one theory that I actually do remember about that whole thing, about the pyramids is that if you look at it, it can form like a current. Or I guess it's like designed to be a good like current for electricity to pass through. So oh yeah, 'cause like like they would use like jugs with like water and like iron in them or something, or maybe not iron, but like copper or something to kind of produce a charge. So maybe, I don't know, maybe they had some form of like really advanced communication before we did, you know. And what if they had some form of advanced communication, but they didn't know what they were communicating to? Like they knew that they were sending, or that something was going out and that something was happening as a result of whatever electro communication thing that they've done. You know what I mean? Ah, shoot, this is not going well already. I remember back whenever I was a kid, like I used to, like the first time I did it, like this guy was really hard, but he became easier. And then, oh man, and now he's really hard again. So today, I'm supposed to be helping out at a show for my madre. She runs a dance studio, and so I don't know, like pretty much all of my life, like, oh man, oh no. Alright, we're gonna get through this. This is gonna be the whole episode though, just trying to defeat this one stupid triceratops. I know there's a method to it. I know there's some kind of technique, because I used to do it. I used to do it back whenever I was a kid. Like, I would get someone stuck up against a wall and then just wail at them. Okay, maybe what I need is Bulma's mom's cookies. And whenever I say cookies, I mean her baked product. Okay. But yeah, man, I don't know. Dreams and like I said, like I do believe that there's something significant about it. But you know, like just relating back to like the Native American culture, like taking ayahuasca, they would have like these religious experiences, right? But it wasn't like, we know what it is now, and they thought it was religious, but it was eye-opening and it's good for you. Like there's tons of benefits to well, I shouldn't say that. I said it because that's what I hear. You know what I mean? I actually don't know. But supposedly there's tons of benefits to taking like hallucinogenic drugs. And like, I guess like your openness, which I don't know how they measure, you know, your openness, but one thing that, like, that's just what Jordan Peterson says, like your trait openness or something like that, like will go up by a whole point, which he says is very significant, which like I said, I don't even know what that means, but if it's good, then shoot. And if Jordan Peterson says it's good, then I trust that guy. So but yeah, trait openness. Oh shoot. Oh, we're so close. We're so close. Come on. Give me some of that trait openness. But because of that, like, I definitely think that, you know, part of that must be a purpose for well, like there's a purpose for it. You know what I mean? Like, I know Native Americans would do this thing called the sun dance, where they would like cut a slit in their chest and then attach like a hooked rope to it or something like that. And then they would basically like hang from a tree and uh and be like dancing around almost like, or well, that's why it's called a sun dance, because they would be like shaking on the hook. Uh, and yeah, I don't know. Huh. Frieza, the cooler, surviving member, uniform, kill my brother. Okay. Interesting. Um, but yeah, they would do this thing called the sun dance, where they would hook themselves up to a rope, and the purpose was to have some type of religious experience, like it would be in order for themselves uh to like, I guess, get like visions from the gods is what they called them. uh but I don't know, I wish I knew what the benefits to like these were. Like, I mean, besides what Jordan Peterson says is trait openness, like um I mean, I guess you can just kind of deduce like having the like people. Well, people record that like, if okay. So first off, just as a you know disclaimer explanation, everything that I'm saying right now is all related to Jordan Peterson, because he's the one person that I've really listened to talk about this. Besides like uh, Joe Rogan, but he's not really like studied. He's just talking. And I mean, besides that, he's a I don't know if I would say a stoner, but he's just, I don't know. Which doesn't that's another thing. One time I tried having this conversation with my parents. It didn't really, well, not with my parents, but with my mom. It didn't really work out, because I kept telling her, because I was talking about how like weed doesn't, well, I mean, weed, like whenever you're doing weed, it makes you, well, depending on the weed, like if it's indica, it makes you want to just like chill out, you know what I mean, be lazy. And she was saying weed makes you lazy, and I was like, well, yeah, but I mean, I was like, well, I'm not gonna argue you on that. Uh, but it doesn't necessarily, like, it's like whenever you look at like a stoner and you say, oh, like stoners are lazy, like they're not, like, I mean, they're probably high very often, but like not like 100% of the time. And I don't think it's necessarily true. I think it's more of, or I don't think it's necessarily true, because it's correlated with the weed. You know what I mean? So this is where I'm coming from. Cause actually, you know what? Here's another thing. I would say that drugs can be a way to, I would say, I would say stick to like, natural. Whenever I say natural, I mean like earth, earthly things. Um, so I don't know. Maybe even ayahuasca. I don't know. I'm not very educated, but if I was to take a stance right now, then I would say that the best, or like that, what I think would be the best option is to, I guess I'm supposed to be here. I would say that that weed is a way where it can kind of, so I don't know, it's hard for me to say that, because I don't have the experience where it like opens up my mind or whatever. Like for me, it's just an experience, you know what I mean? But I do find that after the experience, after the fact, uh after the fact, I find myself much more I don't know, like just in a different space. Like for like a whole day, or at least just like the last time I got like really high. It was just like for like a whole day I was kind of out. I don't know if I would say out, but I was just like the next day, like I was kind of like in a haze, right? So like my head wasn't fully there, and I did want, like, I was just relaxed, like but I was comfortable, you know. Um, but then I came back and shut up the wall. But anyway, then I came back and to the experience, or then or as soon as like my body, I guess, like adjusted or whatever. And I don't smoke often. Like I smoke very, very little. Like maybe like once every 3 months, probably I would say. Because I don't search it out. It's more like who I'm with. You know what I mean? But like sometimes like I'm just with someone, they have it, and so like okay. Um, but I found, like, just from like my last experience, whenever I had it, like it was like I like I said, yeah, like the first time, or whenever I did do it, like I was just so, like, I don't know, out of it. Like, I mean, I was having a good time, but it was just like everything was just like all spacey. You know what I mean? Uh, and then for the next following day, and I would even say probably a day after that, like I was kind of like uh in a haze. Like I was here, but I was not really here. Like I mean, like I was here, but like it's almost like whenever you have a cold, you know what I mean? And I don't know if you guys relate to this, but like whenever you have a cold and you go to school and your head's kind of like stuffed up, and so you're kind of in your head a little bit. Like that's kind of how it was, and I think it's the being in my head part, because I used to love being sick, and like my voice would sound all cool. And I would just be in my head, like I wouldn't think about anything. Like I just enjoyed the experience, of having a cold. But I think that being in your head part, I think it kind of allows you to, I mean, just open up new doors. Like, and it goes back to did you guys know that? And I've been studying this a lot for my project. But if you're bored, if you feel boredom, then like what is the purpose of boredom? Like what is the natural purpose of boredom? And I think it's a motivational drive. And this is studied. This is not necessarily confirmed, because I don't think anything in science should be considered confirmed, but it, like I said, it's well studied, or well, it's theorized. Like I didn't just pull this up. Like I didn't just think this up, as a uneducated person. Like I went to studies, and I went to like scientific research and people saying this, and so this isn't just coming out of nowhere. Basically, like I'm just defending this at this point. But I think boredom is a drive, the same way that hunger is a drive. So if you feel hungry, your body is looking, I guess, for like that equilibrium. Like it doesn't want to be too full, because then you get bloated and it just doesn't feel good. Even though I love that experience, like I love like Thanksgiving, where you just eat, and then just. But anyway, I'm getting sidetracked. But the same way that that eating is a drive to reach that balance of not being hungry but not being full. You know what I mean? Like, because you don't want to hurt. But it's but boredom, I think, is a drive to allow your brain to grow. For example, like neurogenesis, like, and I say, because this is well studied. So here's where like the research comes in. If you have someone in like solitary confinement uh in or if you just like, there's one other thing that you can do. Like I think if you like plug up someone's ears and have like the same frequency just going through their ears, without any change at all, it'll cause someone to I can't remember if this breaks or not. Probably not. But if you like I said, if you cause someone to um if you cause someone to like get like that same frequency in your ear, or even past that, if you like ignore or like don't give them light or whatever, solitary confinement basically. Like I'm just explaining solitary confinement. But people will start to hallucinate, and part of a hallucination, what happens is hallucination actually will help you with neurogenesis. So I think your brain has a natural drive to pursue mental growth and exploration, and so I think that's partly, what one being like stuck in your head is, because you're not necessarily hallucinating, but it kind of like whenever you have that cold, like it kind of, I think it forces you to I don't know, to think differently or go along different paths, or it just kind of shakes you up for a second. Like it keeps you from, because we get in these habits, you know what I mean? Like, and the habits are good. Like I said, everything is in balance, right? So everything needs like that equilibrium. So I think whenever you get stuck doing the same things, you get that sense of like boredom. Like before I went to California, and here's the perfect example. Before I went to California, I got stuck, and it was to the point where like I wasn't sure how to approach things at the moment. You know what I mean? And besides, I kind of lost my motivation to even like keep moving forward. Like I was starting to get comfortable. I was like, okay, so I'm making money and this is good. And I was afraid to spend that money. You know what I mean? I was afraid to risk it for more reward. Like for example, if I needed to start a business, I would have been way more scared. But as soon as I came back from California, I was like, shoot, I'll spend 800, 500. Like I don't even care. Like I just want to get to where I'm gonna go. So I'm gonna do whatever it takes. And I called my bank right away. But I think it allowed me to kind of think outside the box a little bit. Like think in a different way that helps you mentally, I believe. Helps you mentally be able to pick apart the world and start up that neurogenesis that kind of pushes you to in a way to I mean, just create neurogenesis, which I guess the benefit of neurogenesis would be, I mean, if you're in the wild and you need to, like, the hero, who is going to be the hero? The hero is the person that's going to step outside of the boundaries, you know what I mean? And it's good to be the hero because you're the one who's going to push, for more growth and pursue more fearlessly go, move forward in yeah, I mean, that's just like the hero is going to be the person that, if they're catching or if they're chasing like a wild game and the rest of the village is just stuck in their old kind of pathways and afraid because they don't go outside of X, or they don't push the boundaries of I guess wherever the tribe is at that moment. It's gonna be the one that's open enough to explore, but safe enough not to explore so far where that person might die. So it's always the hero that, the one that's gonna bring home the most food, and so you're much more beneficial to that to your community or your tribe. And so I guess I don't know if that's accurate. Because that one's just coming out of my brain. Like, that one I'm just making up. But it kind of makes sense. You know what I mean? Because, like I said, like, if you look at, biology and then try and, compare that with, how possibly could that have served a purpose for humanity at whatever time that, that was, I guess, relevant. And whenever you do that, you start to see, like really open up the doors of like our purpose and our psychology. Like you really start to see things that you didn't really see before, and it's cool. It's a cool experience, or it's a cool thing to look at. But I mean, all of it's like you can't prove. Like, here's my thing with evolution. Like, you can't really prove it, and I've definitely become much more open just because I've been looking into psychology so much, I've become way, way more open to the idea of, maybe we did come from something. I'm still not sure if cross species or whatever. And I still think that it's a good argument to say that, well, I mean, we're all made out of carbon. We all are on the same planet. So maybe it's possible that we just, developed in similar ways. You know what I mean? Like, we're all carbon-based life forms. So I don't think it's too far-fetched to think that, if we're life forms receiving the same, sun, the same vitamins, the same carbon, living in the same atmosphere, living in the same just world, I think it makes sense to kind of think that that we would develop in certain ways, right? That we would develop in these systems that help us. That help us. I mean, that, improve, or I guess not help us, but that work in these certain ways. Basically, I'm saying that I think it makes sense that we work in these very specific ways because of the fact that we all live under the same conditions, right? So, like, function, or what is it called? They say, it's a biology thing. Something equals function. It's like the way something is shaped equals function. I'm trying to think. How do I say this? Form equals function. I think that's what it is. So if you're gonna be under the same conditions, I think you're gonna form in similar ways, because that's gonna be because you're gonna have similar functions. Except for octopus. Octopus are just outside of boundaries. Like, I have no idea. I cannot explain that one bit. 3 years later, Gohan, Senko, Piccolo 18, Special Beam Cannon. You should have paid him a visit. That's cool. Okay. We've gone through this really fast. I also like how everything changed. Like, everything feels all serious and it's fall. Reminds me of Missouri. Gosh, I love the fall. I've just been really enjoying this season. And I think part of it's because like I said before, like, I want to move. Like, I want to go south to, like, either Texas or like somewhere where it's always sunny, Like, that's what I want for myself. But that being said, like, if I'm okay with, like, with that not happening, you know what I mean? But man, I love this game. But for my program, I've been like, or here's another thing. Just as far as me pursuing this whole thing, like, something interesting and kind of how it relates to I guess, like, marijuana and everything, is that, like, I came back to Missouri, and I was saying before I came to Missouri, like, I was in this headspace where it wasn't like I was doing the same stuff, and I couldn't really focus in. I think, like, I couldn't, like, my head was just kind of in this pattern, and it was good because I was getting things done, but it was bad because I wasn't as creative, I think, as I could have been. Like, I wasn't pursuing in a good way. I don't know if that makes sense, but like, I talked about this, and you can see this whenever I talk about it. But I was doing I guess I was doing the same things, and it started to get to the point where I still enjoyed doing them, but I couldn't see it. I started to lose sight of like where was this going, right? But I started to find like as soon as I came back, I mean, just besides being in a different place, like being in California from a different atmosphere and just in a different area, I found that I found that whenever I came back, it was like those 2 days of just being in my head. Because whenever I had first whenever I smoked, it was like the very last day. Like it was the last day that I was on or it was it was the night before I had to leave. So we smoked, and then it was that day, and then I had to go back to I had to go back to Missouri. That it was like 11 or something. So anyway, but it was just like that whole day, like you could still kind of feel it, in you. And then there was the day that I was home. Well, I guess that was the next day, and then the following day, and then the third day was just kind of like where things were different. You know what I mean? Like I could see things in a different type of way, and it helped me to kind of approach like my program. Like I was stuck in this place where it looked a certain way to me, right? The whole program looked a certain way to me, and it was holding me back because I was approaching it from a goal setting perspective, which is still kind of like where I'm going to take it, but I wasn't able to see it, I think, for what it should be, which now I'm focusing less on research on well, it's helping with the research, I'll say, because it's still about, it's still going to end up goal setting, but in order to get over this, I guess, like, hump that I'm at right now, I need to see it in a different light, which the way that I'm now seeing it is that it's not necessarily, or, like, in this moment, like, this section isn't just goal setting, but this section is about intent. How do you live with intent? How do you how do you take these things, or not how do you take these things, but how do you live your life with intent? And so that's kind of where it took me to, I forgot where it started, but like I have tons of notes, and now I'm kind of studying the brain and the biology of the brain and how the brain functions, which is incredibly fascinating, because it's like, it's so random. Like emotions just seem so random. Like the chemistry of it just seems so random that like it's hard to think like that there could be any switch on and off, but you can choose happiness. So how do you choose something in your brain and then have your brain function to give you that thing that you're mentally choosing? You know what I mean? Like it doesn't really make sense to me. I mean, I don't know. Well, that's what I'm trying to figure out, because I do think that there's probably something that I'm missing, but it's just I have to find it, I have to figure it out. Like, what is it, So that's kind of where my research is taking me right now. But it's just the fact that like I needed to step out to come back, and so now I have this new philosophy. Whereas before I was very just hyper focused, right? Like everything was just, just work, just do it. But now I realize that no, is sometimes you, like, if you feel stuck, just take a day off. Just do something that, like, is just relaxing, that you enjoy. You know what I mean? And that's what I do now. Like, even as soon as I got back and I kind of got to another hump, in music, not so much in, like, because whenever I came back, like, I immediately, I made a beat, and then I hopped on the song, and it was incredible. Like, I just nailed it, and it was a matter of, like, minutes. Like, that night, well, it probably took, not minutes, but like it probably took me a few hours, but a few hours, and I wrote a whole song, and it's a really good song, and I think it's gonna come out soon. My mic broke, so now I have to like find my mic, or I have to rebuy a mic, which right now I'm having issues with my credit, with my not my credit, but my debit card, so I'm gonna have to fix that up for a second. But as soon as I fix that, I'm buying this new mic, which is supposed to be a really good mic, like a better mic than I had before. So, I'm taking this very seriously. Like before, I didn't know if this was something that I was just gonna do for fun, but right now, like I'm doing it for both. It's for fun and it's for because I'm starting to love it. But as soon as I get that mic, anyway. But I'm gonna come back to my music, and then I'll have a new purpose, and it'll be good. But at this moment, okay, go on, I guess. At this moment, what I'm pursuing, like I was saying, like I came to like a halt in my music. Like, well, I got back and I wrote that song, and the song was really good. And then after the song, I was out of ideas. Like I didn't have anything. Like it just seemed like nothing was happening. And so, but that weekend, my family left, and so all week I just spent on the couch. Like I just spent on the couch watching Sherlock Holmes, and just I don't know, enjoying other things. And I think that also helps with neurogenesis, just like relaxing the brain for a little bit, and also getting these new things. Like Sherlock Holmes definitely inspired me in certain ways, and then I just started watching 007. Actually, just last night. Incredible movie, man. I loved it. Oh my gosh. And then I immediately started watching the next one. And it's the 007s with was that guy, like Craig, whatever. But anyway, it's just like I came back to this project and everything, and or as soon as like I came back after watching those movies, like I just had like that week of relaxation. Then I just had like a spurt, well not a spurt, but like I guess that's the right word, like a spurt of just like creativity, and being able to kind of figure out what I didn't see before. So it's just, I think sometimes you just need to, I think you constantly need to be putting your brain kind of through, not I guess like stress and relaxation. Like you need to relax it, allow it to kind of rewire. So while you're relaxing, do new things. Pursue creative things. Like now I'm starting to get into playing the ocarina and doing music, and so like just do new creative artistic things to help push you mentally. You know what I mean? Oh, I forgot the heal. And so that's kind of where I'm at right now. But anyway, it's gonna be good. Shoot, I did it again. Hold on, maybe if I think I will automatically do this, but I think I need it right now. 'Cause I think I'm about to die. Oh man, are there rocks? Come on. Yes. That's just energy. Come on, food. Oh man. Well, I don't know. I think I might die. Alright, let me sense it up real quick. And then I think after I defeat this guy, then I'll probably, then we can come back to, I mean, then as soon as I defeat this guy, then I'll probably close it out. So actually, I'll just start right now. So, anyway, well, I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. This was episode 2. I'm really enjoying this game. This game is awesome. But I like I said, I hope you guys are enjoying. Yeah, I mean, just like this series, and I hope you guys are enjoying. Like, also just like this game, I hope you think it's a good choice. I don't know. Yeah, I mean, I hope you guys are having a good time. And if you want to support the podcast, then what you can do is you can go to my website, joshuatbryan.com. And at joshuatbryan.com, there's a section, if you scroll all the way down, where you can choose to support, find either through donations, or you can I mean, honestly, the best way that you can support is just simply by sharing the podcast if you think it could be beneficial for anybody, or by, oh man, I should have came in as Vegeta. Or by hold on. Okay. You know what? Maybe if I die, I'll just die and then we'll come back. Okay. That's another death. I'm pretty bad at this game, but that's okay. Or like, honestly, the best way that you can help support this podcast is simply by sharing with anybody that you think this would be beneficial for. And then the other way that you can kind of help support is, or like I said, sharing is really good. But you can also, I think, leave like a review on like Spotify or on Apple or iTunes or whatever, on whatever you watch, or if you're just watching on YouTube. Honestly, if you just leave a comment, that helps out a lot. And also subscribe if you want to see like more of this content and stuff. But anyway, I hope you guys enjoy this podcast. I know I'm having a good time, and I think this was a really good episode. But with that being said, I will check you guys next time. See ya.